Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. I can't hear you. Aye, aye, Captain. Oh, who lives in a pineapple at the bottom of the sea? Spongebob Squarepants. Absorbent and yellow and porous is he. Spongebob Squarepants. If nautical nonsense is something you wish, Spongebob Squarepants, then drop on the deck and plop like a fish. Spongebob Squarepants. Spongebob Squarepants. Spongebob Squarepants. Those immortal words echo in the memory of my childhood, as they so echo in the childhoods of many others. SpongeBob inspired me to adopt this stray Patrick that I saw on the side of the road. I also learned enough from the show SpongeBob Squarepants to get a B+ in a college-level marine biology course, relying almost entirely on information I knew from SpongeBob Squarepants. As inspirational and educational as the show was, SpongeBob also lied to millions of kids worldwide, myself included. Sea sponges like this one right here are neither square nor wear pants. There are some other inconsistencies in my favorite show of all time, but today I'm gonna talk about real-life sea sponges and how they differ from SpongeBob Squarepants. This is a sea sponge that I murdered. Well, actually, I stole it from my mom, who bought it from a place in Florida that was kinda like Shell City, but for sea sponges. This sea sponge is dead, and tragically it cannot be reanimated by fire sprinklers going off. But that doesn't mean we can't use it for educational purposes. As you can see by the sponginess of this sponge, it's polluted by plenty of pores. In the wild, sea sponges use these pores to filter feed out of the water. When SpongeBob opts to live indoors, he is shown to have the ability to filter feed.
I'm a sponge! I'll just filter feed.
This ability comes in handy for sea sponges in the wild, as adult sponges cannot move. They latch onto substrate such as the ocean bottom and rely on the currents of the ocean to bring them all the food and nutrients and oxygen that they need to survive and then eventually reproduce. Speaking of reproduction, there's another ability that SpongeBob is shown to have. Throughout the series, there are multiple instances of SpongeBob reproducing by budding.
Can you reproduce by budding? Can ya?
Or otherwise replicating himself asexually. While sea sponges have very impressive regenerative abilities and can even regrow body parts, they cannot copy themselves without a sexual partner. Sea sponges don't get down and dirty, they are simply too clean for that. The way sea sponges reproduce is far more interesting. What they do after watching sea anemones on pay-per-view while looking for the sports channel is eject sperm and egg into the ocean currents. This is a process called synchronous spawning. If two cells from the same species are fortunate enough to meet, they form a larval sponge that will swim throughout the ocean. After a period of platonic drifting, the larva will find a nice spot, settle down, and grow into an adult sea sponge, trapped there for all of eternity. This is how sponges migrate and settle new locations, despite not being able to move as adults. Wait a second, did you notice what I just noticed? Larval sponges travel through planktonic drifting. Plankton is a broad term that applies to small organisms that live in an aquatic environment. Sea sponges in their larval stage are plankton. Could it be that the reason why SpongeBob and Plankton were such good friends who do stuff together was because SpongeBob wasn't just Plankton's friend, he was his father? I hate to burst your bubble, buddy, but sadly, I don't think that's the case. Throughout the series, Sheldon Plankton is shown to be a similar age to Mr. Krabs, who's definitely a bit older than the childlike SpongeBob. Second, and more importantly, Sheldon Plankton is shown to be eating holographic meatloaf. Eating a hologram might sound like nonsense to you and me, and it would be easy to write it off as a cartoon gag. But holograms are made out of light, and certain types of plankton do eat light. These are called phytoplankton. There are two types of plankton. There are phytoplankton and zooplankton. Phytoplankton are essentially single-celled plants that are the foundation of the aquatic food chain. Then there are zooplankton, which are essentially microscopic animals that eat phytoplankton. A larval sponge would be a zooplankton, whereas Sheldon plankton is shown to eat light in the form of holographic meatloaf, meaning that Sheldon is a phytoplankton. I hope you enjoyed this tangent of a video, and more importantly, I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell button, all that jazz. Have a good one now. Bye-bye.